In order to correctly decipher what the future of Broly will be, we have to go to the past, specifically the roots of Broly's character and the purpose of him being in the story. The 2018 feature film Dragon Ball Super Broly gave Toriyama a chance to take a character not originally created by him, rather the mind of Takao Koyama, and write him in a different way. And on this video, we're going to be examining the legendary Broly by going into the mind of Toriyama and pulling out the hidden truth behind Broly in Dragon Ball Super. Today's sponsor is Bloodline Heroes of Lethus, a card-based Western fantasy RPG. A game with easy controls which is free for both Android and iOS. Here you can choose your own adventure by raising heirs, customize them by marrying different bloodlines out of dozens of traits to create unique combinations from a vast fantasy world. Possibilities are endless. For example, check out these champions: Kari the Dragonborn, Lycanis, who comes from a line of werewolves, and more you can unlock and level up and create offspring and develop the family tree to get the best traits. Right now I'm offering one champion token, 100,000 gold, and 100 diamonds if you use my link or scan the QR code on the screen. Choose your path in Bloodline Heroes of Lethus today. When you do, use my promo code and meet your true companions and create legendary heirs in this epic, one-of-a-kind fantasy RPG. Don't wait, try it out for free. The link is in the description. At the end of Dragon Ball Super Broly, Broly and Goku had a conversation. It was implied that Goku wanted to fight Broly again. But based on what we've seen from Dragon Ball Super Superhero, it looks like Goku and Broly might actually be training partners, and there's a possibility that Goku could become one of Broly's main trainers. He could go in there and help him harness that power, tap into new forms, and become a useful and powerful ally to him. However, with Goku basically taking Grandpa Gohan's place as, trainer slash mentor figure, how does this relate to the story, the folk story that inspired Dragon Ball, which is Journey to the West? Welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball and Saiyuki, where we talk about the connections and delve into these characters and give you a much better outline and information you're not going to get anywhere else. So I am Danny, aka Geekdom 101 is my channel, and I'm joined by, once again, Jordan the Dragon Lee. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, bro?
You pitched this idea to me. You were like, there's deeper things going on with Broly, which I didn't think about. And my first question to you is, we're talking about Super Broly mostly, the Dragon Ball Super Broly, but what if there even is a connection to Journey to the West from the original Dragon Ball Z Broly from way back in the day, the original 3 Broly movies before Super? Is there something?
Yes, some of it is the same stuff we have in Dragon Ball Super Broly, but Broly has the crown on his head that Paragus used to control him. In Journey to the West, anytime Sun Wukong would misbehave, the monk that he was guiding on the Journey to the West would say a certain incantation, and it would tighten around his head, and it would prevent him from killing. Because Sun Wukong was a creature who wasn't completely in control of his primal instincts, so sometimes the monk would have to stop him from just instinctually destroying someone. And what's really interesting about that, which we'll get into with Super Broly, is the Saiyan race, their culture is a representation of Sun Wukong's beliefs, the things that he stood for. He was a warrior himself, and the way Saiyan culture is sculpted, like the things that they believe in, it's the opposite of Buddhism in a sense, because everything that Sun Wukong was doing, the monk looked down on. He was trying to teach him Buddhism because Buddhism was the answer to him atoning for his sins. So, yes, Broly in the original Dragon Ball Z continuity is sort of a play on Sun Wukong.
It sounds like the artifact what they mostly borrowed. You know what I mean? Like, that's the big thing, right? Sort of,
not necessarily. Goku is a representation of Sun Wukong after he's become good, know. And the inspiration for Broly is the legend that Vegeta told Goku, which turned out to be false, because Goku proved it false by becoming a Super Saiyan with a pure heart. But the inspiration for the original Broly was just making a legendary Super Saiyan who was evil. And at the start,
he himself said, "I'm the devil."
Yeah, exactly. And Sun Wukong is actually technically the devil in his story. I mean, he tries to take over heaven. He gets sealed on Earth. He is considered a very evil, demonic figure, in the early portions of his story. So
yeah, a lot of people have not read Journey to the West, and they think that he's like the main protagonist, like Goku is. He is a main character, Sun Wukong, but he's a flawed character. And what makes the story so good is that you see him change, sort of like Vegeta. So Sun Wukong, different aspects of him were inspired to make Goku and Vegeta. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, and Bardock and King Vegeta and Broly in this case.
Right.
But yeah, I could talk about the connections. I mean, there's more connections between Broly and Sun Wukong, but let's get into Super Broly.
Yeah, let's get into Broly from Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Super Superhero, because now he's training, I guess, with Beerus and Whis and Goku. Goku really is impressed by his potential. He was able to get stronger through rage and anger, and Goku sees potential in a potential future opponent. I'm saying that word a lot, but a future opponent for him to help elevate his game and Vegeta's, because both him and Vegeta recognize they have to have people to help them elevate their game. Beerus and Whis are one person, but having another Saiyan is useful. So what is Dragon Ball Super Broly's connection to the ancient, story?
Well, there are tons of references to Journey to the West and Dragon Ball Super Broly. But the first thing that I really wanted to get into is the inspiration behind the legendary Super Saiyan. A lot of people they question whether or not Broly is the legendary Super Saiyan. And I think if you take into consideration where Toriyama's mind is when he came up with the concept, it can kind of clarify some things. So when Toriyama first started Dragon Ball, one of the main things he liked to do was opposite themes, right? So Bulma, was a girl who was going to look for a boyfriend. The monk,
a lot too.
The monk from Journey to the West was trying to maintain his virginity through most of the story. With Goku, the coolest thing about his character is, yes, he's supposed to be a purified version of Sun Wukong, but he's also born a low-class Saiyan, right? Which is the opposite of Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong is born a monkey with godlike abilities amongst his race. And
right.
That, in a sense, is, if you want to think about where the inspiration for the legendary Super Saiyan came from, that's where your mind should be. Legendary Super Saiyan is this mutant that's born that has all of these abilities that far exceed everyone else in their race.
Yep. And they didn't call him that directly in the film. They hinted at it, but the way Broly gets stronger is through constant fighting. He gets stronger as he fights, and they've never really met a character who can do that as quickly as him. I talked about it before. Broly elevated himself in that movie within however much time it was to like extremely powerful stats where they had to fuse before like even proper training. So how much of an absolute monster would this guy be with proper training?
Yeah, godlike power. Godlike power for sure. But there is some narrative weight to him being the legendary Super Saiyan, because King Vegeta makes it clear that he is waiting for the legendary Super Saiyan, and he actually expects Vegeta to be the answer to taking down Frieza. And it's supposed to be kind of ironic that King Vegeta sent the only chance that Planet Vegeta had to be free of Frieza's rule off the planet. But let's get into King Vegeta sending Broly off the planet. Now, that is actually also a reference to Journey to the West, because in Journey to the West, the Jade Emperor goes to Buddha, which Sun Wukong wanted to be the Jade Emperor, which is ironic because King Vegeta, he gets to be the king. So it's almost like he's playing on that concept again. Toriyama, he just keeps playing on these different aspects of the story and doing creative things with it.
He has done a lot with that story throughout the years. I mean, this is like Dragon Ball has been around for decades now, and he's still taking ideas.
So Buddha ends up banishing Sun Wukong from heaven and sealing him into Five Phases Mountain because he's so powerful that he threatens to destroy the universe. And King Vegeta straight up tells Paragus, he's like, I had to send him to Planet Vampa because he could destroy the universe, right? And the first thing that happens to Broly when he gets on Planet Vampa is he sees the moon and he takes on the form of a great ape. And in the original Dragon Ball, whenever they talk about how Goku is pure of heart, they mention that his heart is like a baby or an animal's. You can kind of, you can apply that to Broly as well. Broly landing on Planet Vampa and then immediately, adapting to living on that planet in the same way as he had seen like all of these animals. Like, it's almost as if Broly assimilated himself with his environment and became the wild beast that he saw around him, and started, feasting on those insects. From the time he landed there, he became a wild animal and embraced, that lifestyle.
And to your point, and people have talked about this forever. This dude was able to harness grade 8 power in his base form, which might not be that impressive compared to God Ki, but for somebody who's never trained all the years that Goku and Vegeta did, that's an ability we haven't really seen yet. They've compared it to Super Saiyan 4, but it's not the same thing. It is different because he's able to tap into the 10 times multiplier internally. But the question has always been, well, can he do more multipliers? I mean, yeah.
But so Broly assimilates himself. He maintains his pure of heart nature through assimilating himself with the planet. And one of the most genius things that Toriyama does with Broly is his training with Ba, because he immediately tames the first beast that he comes into contact with on planet Vampa and becomes friends with them. That's actually supposed to be similar to what we've seen Goku do countless times.
Right.
He became friends with the first enemy that he made. So that's really telling of Broly's character. The fact that he was able to immediately tame a wild beast, and the fact that his father keeps trying to push Saiyan culture onto him, and it doesn't seem to be doing any good. It really goes to show how much the lifestyle that he developed for himself stuck. Like he couldn't bring himself out of this wild animal like state. And that's the reason that he kind of maintains his purity. Now, Sun Wukong, he gets punished constantly for not following the rules of Buddhism and trying to live the lifestyle that Buddha and Tripitaka want for him. And what's really interesting about that is with Broly, because Saiyan culture is the opposite type of culture that Sun Wukong was being taught in Journey to the West, Broly is actually being punished for not living that lifestyle. He's born pure of heart, but he's being punished for not living the life of a Saiyan, which is a really cool opposite dynamic that Toriyama created in Dragon Ball Super Broly.
It's different than Goku or Vegeta because not living that life helped Goku. And in Vegeta's case, it was the opposite, but this is the first time we got a character who not living the life has hurt him. And both Vegeta and Goku wound up kind of on similar trajectories, and Broly now is on the same path too, I think, but it wasn't without struggle.
Ultimately, I think the main point is that, Goku was tamed by Grandpa Gohan as a child. Broly never went through that process. He never went through the process of becoming tamed. So Goku is really, he's really living out the legacy of his grandfather, because he's come into contact with a Saiyan that he can tame and teach to control themselves in the same way that Grandpa Gohan taught Goku. And
right.
What's really cool about that is it's like Sun Wukong taming himself. Oob is based on the whole Buddha motif, so like Goku also trains Oob later on. But Toriyama was really creative in creating a character that was like Sun Wukong, but he was the next step in the cycle. He was the next legendary Super Saiyan, and now Goku is, he has the opportunity to tame him and make him like his ultimate sparring partner.
Right. Goku will have a lot of people to train with. Like I mentioned before, Beerus, Whis can help teach him new things. And then we have Vegeta, who he's been training with for years, and then now Broly, who is going to always get stronger and push both of them to get up there. So I just wonder if Broly's fate is to eventually either overcome everybody and become the strongest character in the series, or if he's going to die. Leave a like, leave a comment. I want to know what you have to say. Thank you so much, Jordan, and we will talk to y'all next time.